Now, from 21Alive Plus, this is your Fastcast.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm here with Liz Braden, and we are, of course, this has been our ongoing topic, is this crazy winter weather after this winter storm passed through. Now we're dealing with some cold, and that's really coming from these wind chills, Liz.
Yeah, bitter wind chills. And then the bigger story with the wind is not only just the nasty wind chills we have, but it's also creating snow drifts, and that's hazardous for your morning drive. So that's where I start out in your first alert forecast this morning. If you live in a rural area, things are open and there's nothing to obstruct that wind, then snowdrifts are going to happen and they'll likely overtake some roads. That's going to be a big hazard as you head out the door. Luckily, that is confined to more rural areas. For the majority of cities, you don't look too bad. In fact, your highways and main roads are really, really good today. They're clear, they're dry. Side streets, though, probably still need a little bit more work with a light coating of snow that you'll want to be very cautious of. Now, those snow drifts this morning are because of these winds. Right now, it's about 20 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. All of this coming out of the west and the southwest, which is continuing to push that snow on roads. On top of it, we do get a little bit of snow today, but emphasis here on a little bit. In fact, you already see a few flurries up north. That is nothing significant. In fact, I'll walk you through future track for the rest of the day with some scattered flurries at times. The bigger deal is certainly the wind versus the flurries that we get. Because when we talk about how much snow we're getting, it's very minimal. In fact, just north of US 30, anything from a trace today up to a ½ inch. And when you go toward the toll road and north of that, that's where you can go over an inch of snow for today. Now, we do have several schools that are either delayed. Oh gosh, sorry, I had to sneeze so bad. That are either delayed or closed and switched over to remote learning. So that is something to just keep in mind. The bigger reason for that is just because of these poor road conditions and the blowing and drifting that's really causing some issues. So if you live in a rural area, know that it is going to be a long drive. You really need to have a vehicle that can withstand the cold, have that four-wheel drive ready to go. And if you don't have four-wheel drive and you're going out on some rural roads, it's really important to take all of those winter driving safety tips into mind, like maybe having the car packed with extra blankets, have some cat litter or something else that can give you a little bit of grit on the road in case, God forbid, you get stuck. Because if you do get stuck this morning in some of those snow drifts, wind chills are already sub-zero at times. We were in the -20s early this morning, and throughout the day, I expect wind chills to stay below zero with highs only in the teens. Tomorrow morning, another morning where temperatures themselves are right around, if not below zero, Sawyer.
Yeah, Liz. And that's a great idea just to prepare your car for if you do get stuck. Yesterday on my way home from work, this was around noon, saw a car that was stuck in the snow, and yes, it was sunny, but it still wasn't enough to melt that snow. And so yeah, you could get stuck. These road conditions, even coming in this morning to work, just weren't ideal. They weren't great.
Definitely not. And I did prepare, I forgot to show this yesterday, so I'm going to pull it up for us here. Some driving tips in case you are out in the snow, especially in some of those rural areas. Make sure, of course, to take it slow. Increase your stopping distance if you are on any roads that still have snow on them. One action at a time. For people that are a little unfamiliar with winter driving, that's something that you'll learn very quickly. You don't want to be turning and stopping at the same time. You want to slowly start to stop, then start to cruise and turn, and do one thing at a time so that way you're not starting to spin out. Just make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time for everything you're going to. And of course, in those rural areas where snow drifts are possible, some people may be randomly stopped on the road ahead of some of those, and you really want to be mindful of other folks when it comes to situations like that, Sawyer. So those are some of my winter driving tips, and it's a really great experience too with some parking lots still having snow. For maybe if your kids have remote learning or they're off school today, take them out into some of those parking lots and give them a quick snow drive lesson. My dad did that for me growing up, and that really prepared me because I used to work in northern Wisconsin, and I got really used to the northern Wisconsin winters for a while. So that's definitely a really good tip for parents and guardians out there today.
I like that. That is a really, really great tip. I know people get really scared, and just driving in the snowy conditions. And, you know, even we've been giving people the first alert on some accidents because of the road conditions too that have just been going on throughout the weekend into the start of this week. One yesterday morning. So yeah, it's just all about being prepared and looking out for each other on the roads.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Liz, thank you so much for those tips. They're very, very helpful. All right, you guys. And with that snow, you know, Liz had said there's just a little bit more snow coming in, you know, some flurries, nothing too crazy, but still the snow is going to be blowing around and there's still just a lot on the roads, or just the ground, the roads, whatnot. So, of course, shoveling is what we're going to see a lot of people doing this week. And because of this, you know, this is an important reminder for people removing that snow. Fort Wayne's snow removal ordinance. So here's what the city is saying, that sidewalks, you know, your sidewalks that are in front of your home or your property, that's your responsibility really, of the property owner or really the person who lives there in that house or whatnot. So here we go. The ordinance states that snow and ice need to be removed by 9 in the morning. And then they want you to keep that clear throughout the day if the snow does continue. But the city may fine you as well if you don't have your sidewalks cleared. It has previously told our team here that officials will typically wait a couple of days before they end up fining someone. So again, that is the property owner, whoever lives in that house or whatnot, that's your responsibility to remove the snow from the sidewalks so you can create more of a safe trail for people that are walking the sidewalks. So yeah, just make sure to clear those off before 9 in the morning. Of course, the city will wait a couple of days before they fine you. So that's something from the Fort Wayne snow removal ordinance, and an important reminder as we are seeing that snow drifting around and maybe even getting a little bit of, you know, a few flurries, and as there is snow on the ground. So by 9 a.m., just make sure to have that all cleared off, ready to go. But that is all we have here for you on your 21Alive Plus Fastcast. Thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday, and be safe out there, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Let's take another live look outside. Very cold out there, so prepare, get your coats on, and cover your face too, because those wind chills, not only are they just super cold, but they are strong. You don't want to get windburn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.